Hello and welcome to another Radical Red Mono run. This time it is a dark run. The team we're running for the Elite Four is King Gambit, Iron Jugulus, a Grimmsnarl. We have Mega Houndoom, who gains Dark Aura, Hydreigon, and Weavile as our final mon. Our first battle is against Lorelei and her team of Ice types. She leads with Ninetales and Glaceon. We taunt the Ninetales to prevent Aurora Veil, and one-shot with a Flamethrower from Houndoom. With Ninetales down, it means there's going to be no Aurora Veil in this fight, which makes things a lot easier. The Rotom comes in, so we have to switch out our Houndoom to preserve it for later in the fight. I do end up just going for damage with Grimmsnarl here on the Rotom, as we switch in Weavile, who's able to tank both a Blizzard and a Scald from the Rotom, even getting burned in the process. Next we send out Hydreigon. We're able to fake out the Glaceon, get some damage off with a Choice Specs Fickle Beam on the Glaceon, bringing it down low. Rotom finishes off Weavile, and in comes Abomasnow. I send King Gambit out here, as we know we have enough damage to finish off Glaceon because of our Supreme Overlord buff. Sucker Punch is enough to take out Glaceon. We go for Fickle Beam on the Abomasnow, and we do get lucky, and we get the boosted Fickle Beam. We also managed to avoid a Focus Blast on King Gambit, which is pretty great. All in all, a lucky turn. The Calyrex and the Rotom then come out on the next turn. We focus down the Calyrex because it's the bigger threat. We get the boosted Fickle Beam yet again for some extra damage. Hydreigon goes down to Calyrex's Glacial Lance, but King Gambit can finish it off. We're then able to send out our Iron Jugulus against the remaining Baxcalibur and Rotom. King Gambit is able to finish off the Rotom. Iron Jugulus gets a Dark Pulse off on the Baxcalibur. We live the Ice Skull Crash, and then finish it off next turn with a combo from King Gambit and Iron Jugulus, completing our first member of the Elite Four. Up next is Bruno, who's probably the toughest member of the Elite Four, based on what team I brought. Close combat from Infernape does a lot to Grimmsnarl. Fortunately, we were able to set up the Reflect, so we take it relatively okay. I then do send out Weavile here, just to break Infernape's Sash. We are able to live the close combat, fake out to break the Sash, but then unfortunately do go down to another close combat. I really did overestimate Weavile's speed here. I was expecting it to outspeed. It didn't. It doesn't matter. Grimmsnarl's able to set up the Reflect again on the Infernape. We click Play Rough here, expecting it to stay in. Switches to Zacian. We do a bit of damage, but not much. We then Parting Shot into King Gambit, who's able to tank the Behemoth Blade really well. We click Metal Burst because we know we're going to live because of the Reflect, and we one-shot the Zacian with Metal Burst. That was it's a fun way to get rid of Zacian, and I'm really glad it worked out. The Lucario then comes in, we get a bit of chip with Sucker Punch, and now it's time for Iron Jugulus to take the stage. We're able to click Aeroblast and get a crit on Lucario and take it out in one. The Infernape comes out. We click it Aeroblast, take it out in one. The Urshifu comes out. We click Aeroblast, take it out. The Komodo comes out. Once again, Aeroblast is able to take it out in one, leaving just the Iron Valiant left. We are able to tank a Moonblast, and once again, Aeroblast can clean up the fight and complete the sweep. Fortunately, Agatha is a much easier fight, as the majority of her mons are Ghost type, which means we can hit them for super effective damage. The first one is the Hisuian Zoroark. We U-turn out, mainly to see what team we're fighting. Send out our Grimmsnarl, who's able to tank her Hyper Voice. Parting Shot out into King Gambit on the Taunt, which means we take no damage on King Gambit. And finish off the Zoroark with a Sucker Punch. This baits in the Chi-Yu, who we know is going to click Flamethrower, so we have a free switch to our Flashfire Houndoom. We Mega Evolve, get some damage off with Scorching Sands. I was predicting the switch here, so I go for Flamethrower. It doesn't switch. We take unnecessary damage, but we're able to take it out next turn and finish off the Chi-Yu. In comes Roaring Moon. We end up going for Sucker Punch just to get some damage off. Unfortunately, Houndoom does go down here. I then send out Weavile. I thought I'd put the Focus Sash on Weavile. I must have forgot, and Weavile just goes down. Kind of a throw, but we move, and we send out our Iron Jugulus, who's able to land a critical hit U-turn on the Roaring Moon, switch into Grimmsnarl, on the Dragon Dance, reflect, so then we're taking less damage from its physical attacks. I do click Parting Shot, no reason, I know it didn't work, we just wanted a free switch into Iron Jugulus. We then tank the knockoff thanks to the reflect, Aeroblast to finish off the Roaring Moon. In comes Gengar. Fortunately, we're able to switch our move because our Choice Scarf was knocked off. We lived the Sludge Wave, land a Dark Pulse, almost one shot, unfortunately go down on the next turn. The reflect wears off. We send out Hydreigon to finish off the Gengar, as we live a Focus Blast on 27. Dark Pulse takes out the Gengar. In comes Marshadow. We do go down to a Shadow Sneak, but we can send out King Gambit, who's able to gain a boost from the Supreme Overlord. Kowtow Cleave does a lot of damage to Marshadow. We then Sucker Punch, get the crit, which was essential, and we finish off the biggest threat to our team. We're then able to land a Sucker Punch through the Paralysis on the Goldengo and beat Agatha. We then face Lance, lead with our Grimmsnarl, Taunt to prevent rocks going up on our side of the field, and set up the Reflect, so then we take a lot less damage from this Garchomp. Play Rough does good damage. We then Parting Shot out into Iron Jugulus because we know it's going for Earthquake. we are able to force the Garchomp out, and in comes Melmetal. I didn't have a great switch here, but I ended up going into Hydreigon, who takes the double Iron Bash surprisingly well, staying at about half HP. Dark Pulse does good damage to the Melmetal. Unfortunately, Hydreigon does go down to an Ice Punch, but we brought the Melmetal low enough where a Flamethrower will finish it off from our Houndoom. With the Melmetal down, Iron Jugulus comes in. We outspeed, and we're able to land a big Flamethrower. We live the Earth Power. It has no priority, so we finish it off with another Flamethrower. The Dialga then comes out. I do just decide to stay in, go for Fiery Wrath and go for damage, die to the Flash Cannon, and then send out our Grimmsnarl against the Dialga. We know it's going for Flash Cannon here, so it's a free potting shot into Iron Jugulus, who takes the Flash Cannon really well. We're then able to Dark Pulse for some damage, get Roar of timed out into our King Gambit, who's able to Kowtow Cleave and bring the Dialga down to 1 HP. I do go for Taunt here, because I really didn't want the Dialga to rest. It doesn't go for rest this turn, but now we know we got a guaranteed kill on the next turn, and no fears of it clicking rest. We go into Weavile, Fake Out, and Ice Shard is enough to take out the Dialga, and we beat the big dragon, leaving just the Garchomp, who we Ice Shard, the Dragonite, who we do massive damage to with an Icicle Crash. It only lived because of multiscale, and even then only just. Extreme Speed does take us out, but we're able to send out King Gambit, who's able to Sucker Punch to finish it off. The Salamence is the only mon left. We do get intimidated, so we know that we have to switch out our King Gambit into Iron Jugulus on the Earthquake, meaning we take no damage. We're able to get some free damage off with an Aeroblast, bring it below half. We get the maximum boost from Supreme Overlord, go for Sucker Punch, fortunately live the Earthquake, and finish off the Salamence on the next turn. This of course leaves just the champion, and he leads with Pheromosa. We decide to lead with Grimmsnarl, Fake Out, get some damage off, and bring it low. This forces in Eternatus as the Pheromosa U-turns out. We're able to Parting Shot into King Gambit on the poison move to take 0 damage. I go Kowtow Cleave first, honestly expecting it to do more damage. Then, seeing how much we took from Flamethrower, we are able to live, land a Metal Burst on the Eternatus, and Sucker Punch to finish it off. I am glad that Metal Burst made a return, as it is a super fun move to use, although it is really situational. Ditto comes in. I wasn't sure what it was going to go for, so I scout. Seeing his Sucker Punch, we know we don't take a lot with any of our mons, I end up going to Iron Jugulus, but then seeing how we're not able to really hurt it, I do just U-turn out, go into Hydreigon instead, who is able to just click Fickle Beam a couple of times and take out the King Gambit after taking a lot more damage than I wanted it to. Yveltal then comes out. Oblivion Wing brings us low. We get a bit of damage off with Fickle Beam. Send out our Weavile, who does outspeed the Yveltal. Fake Out for the bit of chip, and Icicle Crash to finish it off. This forces in Miraidon. We know we don't outspeed Miraidon, so we just go for Ice Shard for damage, do about 40%, some decent damage. Here I send out Mega Houndoom against the Miraidon. We do just go for Scorched Sands. Unfortunately, an Electro Drift crit does take us out, killing our Mega in one hit. So instead, we send out Iron Jugulus, go for the Dark Pulse, because that's our win con at the minute, getting flinches. We get a flinch. We kill the Miraidon next turn. In comes Pheromosa. We're still holding the Choice Scarf, so we're able to just click Dark Pulse again, finish off the Pheromosa, and in comes the remaining Metagross. We Dark Pulse yet again, my most effective move, and we get another flinch. So we're able to clean up the rest of the fight, and Iron Jugulus gets yet another sweep. Probably the MVP of this run was the Iron Jugulus, thanks to sweeping both Bruno and the champion. However, King Gambit's Metal Burst did come in super useful, as that was my only answer to Zacian, and he also did work in the rest of the run.